Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Urchakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up from Yahoo Finance. And it says Turkey bids to join Brics and push to build alliances beyond West. And so Turkey has applied to join the Brics nations. The Brics currently consist of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with a number of nations actually applying to be let into Brics. And this is directly going against the petrodollar and against NATO and against Western hegemony, which is why it speaks of in a push to build alliances beyond the West. And this is meant to be a formal competitor to the dollar and to the dollar's hegemony throughout the earth. And as you can see, the petrodollar is dying, especially with Saudi Arabia backing out of the deal just this year that allowed dollars to be traded for oil or to be used in the trade for oil. And if you've been paying attention, there's been more and more articles and news about oil being traded in things like the yen and the Russian ruble over dollars, because it's been, for the last 30-40 years, it's been all about the dollar as far as trading for oil goes. But now there is a competitor, and it's really meant to be a dollar killer. And so losing this NATO member who is Confederate with the US and with the West, who is in NATO, this is a huge loss for the West. But just reading a little bit into the article, it says Turkey has formally asked to join the BRICS group of emerging market nations as it seeks to bolster its global influence and forge new ties beyond its traditional Western allies, according to people familiar with the matter. And if I'm correct, I believe Turkey is actually has the third largest standing army in the world. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's true. So this is really a big loss for the West. It says the view of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's administration is that geopolitical center of gravity is shifting away from developed economies, according to the people who spoke on condition of anonymity because they aren't authorized to comment. The country's new diplomatic push reflects its aspirations to cultivate ties with all sides in a multipolar world, while still fulfilling its obligations as a key member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which NATO itself makes up the beast, NATO and the EU. And that includes America, which is really in control of this beast. It speaks of the whore that rides the beast, and America's that whore. And with the beast being NATO and the EU. Since straddling Europe and Asia, Turkey submitted an application to join BRICS some months ago amid frustration over a lack of progress in its decades-old bid to join the EU. The people added. The bid is also partly a result of rifts with fellow NATO members after Turkey maintained close links with Russia following its invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The people added. Turkey's foreign ministry and presidency declined to comment. Turkey can become a strong, prosperous, prestigious, and effective country if it improves its relations with the East and the West simultaneously. So they're trying to have a foot on both sides, try to play both sides. It says Erdogan said in Istanbul over the weekend, which is the capital of Turkey, any method other than this will not benefit Turkey, but will harm it. And doing this lesson because this is prophetic. Turkey, which is known as Gomer within the scripts, is prophesied to join battle with Russia, who is known as Gog, of the land of Magog. And they're going to, all together with the rest of Russia or Gog's allies, are going to take out both America and the land of Israel. And so this is prophetic to see this turn and the official application of Turkey trying to join the Brics nations. And so let's go ahead and Slovakia, get into the scripts. And this is Obadiah 1 and verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. And I bring this out because Turkey was a part of America, or the West, the Beast Confederacy, and they are joining the other side and still trying to pretend like they're friends with the West. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. And that's them, or just in this example, Turkey playing both sides. It says that they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's none understanding in him. Because Esau is not going to know what to do when everyone turns on him. But Turkey, being a part of NATO, has turned on Esau and turned on Babylon, which the leadership of Turkey, those are Edomites as well, because your nationality, your actual nationality, goes back through your fathers, and the leadership of Turkey, they go back to Esau. But yeah, they were considered Confederate, and they are turning to the other side. And so this is Confederacy in the Etymon Online. And it says a contract between two or more persons for mutual support or joint action, from Anglo-French confederacy, which stems from the Latin confederare, to unite by a league. And the Brics nations are a league of nations. It says with or together, a league. And so, and then just this little bit down here, to trust, confide, to persuade. But yeah, they have the men that were, or Turkey that was with NATO and with the West, they've switched sides. They flip-flopped and are eventually going to join in battle with Russia and with its other nations, with Russia's other allies. They're going to fire onto America and fight against America, or Babylon the Great, in this coming Third World War, what is known in the scriptures as the Third Woe, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or the Battle of Armageddon. Turkey won't be on the side of the West, or on the side of Babylon. This is Ezekiel. We'll start at 4, but the point's down in 6. And it says, and I will turn thee back. This is speaking to Gog, or Russia. And it says, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. And so putting hooks into a beast's jaws is a way of controlling it. So the Lord is controlling the Russians. And it says, in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So they're going to come out fully kitted up with their jets and their tanks and all of their armory and all of their men. It says Persia. Persia is modern day Iran, Ethiopia and Libya, and this is speaking to those African nations, especially North African nations, with them. And you see Russia forming alliances with these African nations as well. currently. It says all of them with shield and helmet, so they're going to be ready to join battle as well, because the West is made, especially Babylon, is an enemy to all of the nations, not just the nation of Israel, but everyone. They've gone around stealing and killing and raping and, or R-wording, Slovakia, and destabilizing nations and spreading their lies and philosophies. So they've made a lot of enemies over the years. But here's the point down here. Gomer and all his bands, and Gomer is actually Turkey itself. And actually pulled up a little something showing that Gomer is Turkey. So this is from the Oxford Bible Church, and it says, Appendix 7, where is Gomer? And so it's not too long, we'll read through it. It says, another participant in the end-time confederation of nations is ancient Gomer, the first son of Japheth, and father of Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Togarmah. It says, some prophecy teachers, as well as rabbinical view, identify Gomer as Germany, but that's not true. We know Germany in the scripts to be Teman. And it says, in the Jewish Talmud, positively identify Gomer with the Germans. But as you know, these Jays, they are the tribe of Amalek, and they turn everything upside down. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. They're the anointed cherub that covereth, because they don't want their own identity to go out, their true biblical identity, which is Amalek, and then the rest of their nation, Edom, which are the rest of Caucasia, or these so-called Caucasians. They don't want to be known, so they've turned everything upside down, and they've put a veil over the nations. Some nations have biblical names, so most of them do not. And they've basically just brought a ton of confusion. And so listening to that Talmud is not going to help at all. Moving down, it says a closer examination, however, reveals that the Gomerites were the ancient Cimmerians, expelled in 700 BC from the southern steppes of Russia into the area we know today as Turkey. So Gomer in the scriptures is Turkey, and Turkey's the nation that just applied to Brics. It says Gomer scholars seem to almost universally agree refers to the Celtic Cimmerians of Crim Tartary. Gomer is well known to the ancient world as Gomarai of North Central Asia Minor, or Cappadocia, which is in the scripts as well. It says these people are also known as the Cimmerians. This seems to be the simplest, most obvious interpretation. Gomer is to be identified with the Cimmerians, the Chimerae of the Assyrian inscriptions. Located on the shores of the Black and Caspian Seas, Gomer is Gymera, is Chimeria, is Cappadocia, central Turkey. Gesenius speaks of part of Gomer's hordes as being Ashkenaz, which those Amalekites also take on that name, and that name seems to go with Germany, but I don't want to, not saying that's for a fact, but all these areas, when you think of it, it's Gog, Magog. This is speaking of Gomer, speaking of Ashkenaz. All these were sons of Japheth, but now these lands are filled with Edomites today. It says Gomer's hordes as being Ashkenaz, the proper name of a region and a nation in northern Asia sprung from the Cimmerians, who are the ancient people of Gomer. Herodotus and Plutarch also identified Gomer with the Cimmerians. The Cimmerians are well known to secular historians. The Scythians chased them across the Caucasus Mountains into Asia Minor, or Turkey. They made their way through that land, destroyed the Phrygian kingdom in the 7th to 8th century BC, and in the 5th century raided the kingdom of Lydia. They kept all of southern and Asia and western Asia in turmoil for a century and a half. But yeah, just wanted to prove that modern day Turkey is in fact ancient Gomer. And so back to Ezekiel 38:6, it says Gomer, or Turkey, and all his bands, and as we were speaking of, they have a large standing army. It says the house of Togarmah, which Togarmah was one of Gomer's sons, of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia is going to be a guard unto his allies, and eventually, after the MOTB is made mandatory, this war is going to go into full swing, with Turkey being allied with Russia, or Gog. And this is all bringing about the end of the Gentile rule, which all these nations that were just mentioned are Gentile or heathen nations. And so I thought that was interesting, seeing prophecy working right in front of our eyes. Lord willing, that was edifying. And I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.